Today is a continuation of drum roll. Church is a scam.
Mhm.
And we couldn't have left y'all with, the statement that church is a scam without telling you the types of scams that are being done in the church. So that is what we are going to talk about today.
Let's do it.
Are you
Welcome
ready?
back. Welcome back. Week 3. I feel like the people have gotten to know us a bit.
Mhm.
So I think we can have this. I think this is the perfect time to have this conversation because I feel like we set it up. We let people know like where we are, what we're thinking, what the state of the church is. And that it indeed is a scam. But I think now we need concrete examples. And I think just to dig a little bit deeper. So I'm glad we're doing this part 2.
I'm, I'm glad. Am I nervous? No, I just feel like, when you talk about certain things, there's such a black and white opinion. There's no
Sure.
gray or middle ground. It's like either this side is right or this side is right, and nobody meets in the middle.
Yeah.
So it gets polarizing, right? When you have a different opinion of what is going on. So, okay, let's start with scam number one. This
Scam
one,
number 1. Before we go there, I'm going to say this. So at my church, before we start Bible study, our Bible study teacher, she does a really good thing that I think we should do here to establish
okay,
that we love each other. Like she calls them her rules of engagement, and she says like nobody's here to prove that they're right. So we love y'all. We're not here
we
to prove
do.
that we're right and you're wrong or vice versa. We're also not saying that we love Jesus more than you. We're going to say we all love Jesus, okay?
Mm,
And it's okay to change your mind. So, in the course of this conversation, we may change our minds. You may
mm.
change your mind. And when we're presented with new information, it's okay to change our minds. And so, I think it's important to say those are our rules of engagement. Like, as we jump into this conversation, this is not a call out, it's a call in. Ain't that what the girls be saying?
That's
I'm sorry.
exactly what they be saying. I love that though, because we have changed our mind. Like this version of the podcast is a complete 180
Yes.
mindset change as compared to when we started 15,000 years ago and
Yes.
we were just screaming and yelling and didn't really have a real plight. Now, yeah. So we have evolved, but
Yes.
we've come to a place where we still have the same, I think, opinion about certain things.
Mhm.
Okay, so we got rules of engagement. Let's hop
Because
into
we
this
love you.
very difficult conversation that has been going on. So, this is something that has happened recently. Scam number one, I would say, is people have their ideas of what holiness looks like and they project that onto everyone. And it is not as one sided as people think. So, recently, there's been a big discussion. Um, I saw it on Threads, but it's been on Instagram everywhere, where there's a certain what would we call her? Influencer? I was gonna say
Sure.
Bible teacher.
I think we could say biblical influencer.
There's a biblical influencer who has a specific testimony that she tells and she has written a book about. And in this particular month, she always has this same crash out every year
Mhm.
when a certain topic is brought up. And so, well, let's just say it. The church is not very kind to the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
The church is not very kind to that community. And I think it's this argument. Oh, and I saw a post on Instagram. I'm gonna read it. But it's this argument that we have that I feel is unnecessary. It's this back and forth about whether it's right, whether it's sin, whatever.
Right.
And I don't feel like that's the point. I feel like Jesus is always the point.
That
And
part.
he is never brought up in this conversation, in my opinion. But I feel like when he is brought up, is to make him back whatever you feel.
Yes. Yes. 100%. Keep going. I'm listening.
So with this particular scam, I feel like it causes some, self-deprecation, some guilt, shame. And I'm like, if we're presenting a message that comes with all of that, what is the message really?
Right. Right. All the things to that, because I think that the last thing you said is the crux of it. Nowhere in the gospel, as we are reading through, as we are watching people invite more people to the table, is there a feeling of shame and guilt that's placed upon people that we're inviting into the community. Even when y'all's boy, y'all love Paul. Y'all love Paul, that's your dude, okay? Y'all love him. But even when he writes to the churches to be harsh with them, to rebuke, there is never an invitation to shame. There's never an invitation to feel condemned. He's always course correcting or telling people this is our example. And so I think when we are led to believe that we have to shame our LGBTQ, brothers and sisters, when we have to make them feel like they are condemned, we got to take a step back to say, is this the intent of the gospel? And I'm going to say no every time. Every time.
Yeah. It reminds me of when people say, what is it? Hate the sin, love the sinner. And it's like, where did it even come from? Like, where did y'all get this anyway?
I feel like, I was about to say a name, but I feel like one of those mega church pastors that used to have those conferences back in the 90s made that up. Legit. I think that's what happened.
I'm gonna agree, because that probably is what happened, and it is carried on. But it's like, I feel like that only applies to this particular conversation. So there always still has the hate in it, though. Hate the sin. We don't say that about when y'all. Let me rephrase. We don't say that about people in our lives who are sinning in other ways, right? We never say, hate the drunkenness, love the person. We never say that. But when it comes to this particular conversation, it's always you got to hate this particular thing about a person and then love them. You know what I mean? It's like there always has to be something that's contrary to the gospel. To attack Kev on stage about his view recently.
The kindest human on the internet. The literal kindest human on the internet.
We have lost our way when Kev on stage is being attacked on the internet.
Right.
And attacked because he said, well, I'm going to just love the people regardless. And y'all was mad.
Not even a controversial statement. He literally was just like, my plan is to love people. And people were like, no, you're not a real Christian. I saw people in his comments like, I don't know how I can move past this. And I asked the question on Threads. I was like, was Kevin on stage some of y'all's pastor? Because I'm confused.
But okay. But then we also talk about how people misinterpret platforms, right? Like, we're now taking theological advice from Kev on stage, and y'all are saying he's not, theologically sound. He's a comedian.
That's his job. He's a comedian. He never came out and said, Pastor Kev, pastor of,
and he was
the stage.
A youth pastor. Yeah, he was a youth pastor back in the day, but we're not talking who he is today. This man is a comedian. So again, that goes back to changing your mind. He even said, back in the day, I had my opinions about a lot of things. Yep. And now, as I've grown and changed and evolved and read and done different things, my opinion about that is changing. And it was like, your opinion cannot change. You have to side with us. You have to hate the sin, love the sinner. Yes. And now we can't watch your funny videos. Like, are y'all okay?
And that's insane to me, because it's also kind of like, oh my God, where do you draw the line? Like, but some people are this extreme, and I think it's mental illness, because they're like, I don't want to go to a store if it's not a Christian store. I'm gonna start a Christian gym. I literally saw a girl like, I'm at a Christian gym. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Okay,
I'm sorry.
religious psychosis. Okay, religious psychosis is a real thing. Here, I remember one time that I said that I was not a Christian therapist. You know, I always say things to piss the people off, but when I said
Mhm.
this, people were like, "Oh my gosh, like how could you say that? You're denying who you are, yada yada." I said, "Y'all, I'm a therapist who happens to be a Christian, but I don't market myself as a Christian
Right.
therapist. You do not have. These are not saved boho. She don't have to say." A Christian hairstylist. Like the Holy Ghost is not in his hair. It's still tangling. Okay? We've got to
Currently
stop.
dealing with the tangles.
We have got to stop labeling things but not living it.
Yes. And I think like it is totally fine if you want to run your business according to kingdom principles.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that another day. Like, it's okay that you want to do that. It's okay that you want to be, equitable and integral. Like, yes, we have a Christian ethic. There are things that Christ has called us to, and through Christ, we are transformed in. Like, there's just stuff I can't do. Sometimes
Absolutely.
people be cutting up and wilding. Like, prime example, when I go to restaurants, sometimes I go to restaurants with people and they cut up on those servers. You know what I'm saying? Now I never go with them again because do not embarrass me. But some people are like ticky about everything that a server does. For me, that my ethic doesn't allow me to do that. I try to be kind to service people. I try to be kind to every person that's working for me on any sort of thing. That's a part of my ethic, and to me, that's how I exhibit that I'm a Christian. I want you to come across me in the wild and be like, man, that's a very kind girl. You're not gonna
Mm,
catch me going off on somebody in the store. So
right.
I get it. We can have a Christian ethic, but to be so delusional to think that a comedian has to um, hate who you hate for you to laugh at their jokes, it's mental illness. I can't.
It's wild. And the discourse of it is always you have to side with we hate this. You have to side with this is unbiblical, it's unholy, it's disgusting, like it's vile, it's all these things. And if you are not on this side, you are not on the Lord's side. And
Yeah,
it's like, where do we lose the example? Right?
yeah,
Like it was Jesus, he was, he had a little spice, right? Yes. But never, and whenever I've been reading lately, it's been I see all this affirmation whenever he's talking, whether it's, the woman that was about to stone, the woman at the well, which I love, and people misinterpret that as well. We're not gonna go there.
that
But
part.
like yeah, there's always been affirmation. And so when we don't leave with love or affirmation, we got to leave with hate the sin. We don't
Right.
even say love the sin or hate the sin. It is always a lead.
Mhm.
Like there's always hate in there. And I don't understand where we got to a point of where that not only is acceptable, but it has to be replicated.
Yes. I also think I was listening to a talk this morning from this theologian. I'll have to find his information. And he was talking about Galatians. And he was saying that one of the big things that people miss in Galatians is Paul was trying to explain to them, like, not about their individual sin, but about the sin nature of the world. Like, we have inherited a sinful world. And so we can't waste our time on petty individual sins when we have to combat the fact that we live in a fallen world.
Mhm.
And so how do you mend relationships with people who are different from you, who think different, who believe different, who carry certain customs and don't carry others? Like, at the core, and the way you combat this is through Christ. And so I think even the concept of hate the sin, love the sinner is silly, because every you have to do that for everybody. We live in a sin sick world. Every person is combating sin. every day on some level. And so that's just a stupid notion. It's like everybody's sinning, so you hate everybody a little bit, but love them because they say they love Christ, so I love you a little extra. That's just, to me, a silly notion, and it lets me know that you've gravitated towards a custom and not a scriptural reality.
Well, as I say every episode, if we read our Bibles,
at the end of the day,
if we opened up the book, there would be a complete, I feel like, overhaul of the way that people think, and then actual transformation of the mind, and then that makes you behave differently. So I don't have to look at you as a sinner. I have to look at you as, somebody that disgusts me. I look at you as you are a child of God, and I'm gonna love you regardless of who you sleep with, what you think, what you do. The emphasis on people's personal lives, to me, it's insane, honestly.
It is insane. It's also like, girl, don't you have anything else to do?
No.
Do you have nothing else to do? Listen, I have enough worries of my own, okay? I have to remember to check my mailbox. That stresses me out. Like, and you want me to think about what you were doing and who you were sleeping with? Ew. I don't have the time.
I hate that we've gotten here, but I hate that with this particular conversation and this particular person, it's now the success is you have to absolutely deny something and live the way that she lives in order for it to be representative of Jesus. So I gotta, and yes, we deny ourselves. Okay, we take up a cross, we do the things, but replication, just because that is your story, okay, that was your choice. That's how you came to. That's how you decided to live. That does not mean that now everybody who does not choose that path, you can send them to hell, because you can't do that.
Yeah, but it's how we've chosen to, and how we've been led to believe we should even read the Bible. There is this understanding that everything in the Bible is for me to do. And I'm like, girl, do you live at Corinth? Because I don't. Like,
that was a church I wouldn't have wanted to be at, baby. They had a lot going on. Take me to Philippi.
Okay. Philippi. And I really, all of them had their little things, but it's like, we have to learn how to extract the wisdom from a thing. Like, sure, I can read my Bible and be a literalist and say everything that's here I have to do. I will fail utterly. Also, where do I get a goat? Because I don't know. Like, I can't do every single thing that's in the word. So that's the same thing with people's testimonies. Like, I think that's
absolutely
one of the scary things about the internet and this kind of immature faith that's often displayed online. People will hear me tell my testimony like, oh, that's good. I'm gonna not do that too. But that's not your conviction. God didn't call you to that. And so now you're taking your own ability to hear from the Spirit away and placing it on another person who you do not know. And that's scary to me.
That brings me to another scam that we didn't discuss. Right, scam number 2, because we don't leave this scam where it's at, because y'all just gonna hate the sin and love the sinner forever, and that's okay. We're gonna do something different.
But we gonna love who we love, and y'all can too. Sorry, had to say it.
You know what? You know what? I'm glad you said it, because that needs to be said, and you can too. Okay, and if not doing that causes you, I'll just go here, mental distress. Let's reevaluate your relationship with God, because He will never give you mental distress over these things. Okay.
That part.
All right.
Amen.
But scam number 2, a scam that me and you talk about a lot, and I'm about to laugh because you and this scammer have the same birthday.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say a name on this one. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Go ahead.
Speaking of thinking you have to do the same thing as somebody's testimony, this particular scammer had the girlies in a chokehold, had the girlies trapped in purity culture, had the girlies not kissing until their wedding day, had the girls messed up. And now
And
she
they
has
weren't
changed her
holding
mind.
hands. They weren't even holding hands.
Baby, they wasn't doing nothing. They was doing their bed checks and they was doing their bed. If you're watching and you know who I'm talking about, please comment if you ever did a bed check. I didn't. See, I'm a little bit older, okay? So I didn't get I
We
was
did Purity
like,
Culture 1.0.
right. Y'all was on purity culture on crack. Okay? It was
Too far.
I don't know how y'all got there either. Because even back then, having the small amount of biblical knowledge and faith that I had, baby, I knew that was insane to
Knew it.
know
I
that
got
is
blocked on Twitter because I was like, question.
I got blocked on Instagram
Oh dang,
because
she's still my friend on Facebook though, girl. She be wishing me a happy birthday. And I'm like,
really,
I'm not a
even
supporter.
no, I got blocked on Instagram because when the allegations or whatever came out, I just asked why they was lying. Because why
And that
y'all lying? Nevertheless, the scam was that if you did not do your bed check, if you kissed before you got married, all the things, you were impure, you were not going to get a husband, you were not going to keep a husband. And everybody replicated this lady's behavior.
yeah.
You have to dress for your husband, modesty, 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 which I still believe in, but this is insane. And then y'all still ain't married.
And the ones that got married are divorced.
So we are replicating behaviors.
Yes.
Where is this getting us? Other than being scammed. But where are y'all going with this? Why is there no discernment? Why is there no wisdom? Why is there no checking the Bible? And not literally, but for an overall, how should I behave in dating? How should I behave in my marriage? Like it tell you that.
Mm-hmm. I think the problem is that it's a scam. Like I don't have a better way to put it, but people know, and I've got to be a little real. I'm sorry. People know that a lot of Christians, especially people who go to more evangelical type churches, they know that there is a desperation that resides there. And I that's the best way I know to put it. But there is a desperation for a certain life. And there is a belief that you can show that God is pleased with you by having this life. So if I get married and I get married quickly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, quickly as in get married young, or if I'm not young, I get married soon after meeting this person because God has confirmed the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have kids. I've got to have buku kids, so many kids. And I may not have a real job to support them, but the church is celebrating me having all these kids. Now, they're not supporting me, but they are celebrating me. And then I have to look the part. We've got to take all the pictures. We've got to be on social media. We have to, because this cements that God is pleased with me. And people who are scammers, they can spot that desperation. And it's not new to the church. It's been happening in the church for decades. You can look up most really bad instances of like cults or scams. They're 99% of the time tied to some religious practice. And I would probably say half of that time tied to Christianity in America. Because there is a desperation. And so I think because that is true, we have to interrogate every person that comes in and says, I have a great new wonderful thing. Follow me. It's like, why?
But see, and that's the thing. The people come with these new things And what do we know? There's nothing new under the sun. So if you're coming to me with something new and I'm desperate, yes, I'm going to hop onto that thing.
Yeah.
But also, here's my problem. Once y'all get with these people with the new things, I'm going to need you to start actually deepening your faith. So then that way you can see that what was new was really just the way you into the scam.
Yeah.
And then you actually develop a relationship, you get out of the scam, and then you go make real disciples. The problem
Yes.
is that's not what happens. You stay in the scam, you get mad at the scammer, and by proxy, you're mad at God, and you out here wilding.
Yeah.
And what we supposed to do, y'all?
Right. And it's so hard to convince people that God didn't tell these people to scam you. He didn't.
He
And I
never said
and trust me, I get like your vitriol going towards God because the truth is we have access to God, you know?
that.
I could talk
Yeah.
to him. I can't always get to the founder of said organization and her bracelets. I can't get to her, okay? But
Bracelets
I
is
can
great.
the bracelets.
Bracelets.
The bracelets.
Did you have a bracelet?
Girl, no. No. You know, okay, so let me give my testimony. Okay. Let me give my testimony. So I heard about this movement on it had to be Twitter randomly one day. And this was like when I was how old were we? We were probably like 25 at the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe 25. Someone reached out to me, a girl that I'd gone to college with, and she was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this person? She's looking for people to lead some Bible studies." I love Bible studies. So I'm like, let's do it. Like, I'm down. This is a girl I went to college with. I think she's sane. So I get onto the little meetings. It's totally normal. The lady is on there for like 2 seconds. Then it's another girl that takes over. She's like, "Hey, we want to run these Bible studies because we want to talk to young women about, who they are, their identity." The purity culture stuff hadn't come yet. So then I get an email packet. In the email packet, that's where it started getting a little shicey because now they're like wanting us to pay to be facilitators because they want us to have these matching pink things like shirts and notebooks and stuff. And so I was like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to pay y'all, but I'm going to stay down." So I end up like going through that whole little process and I hold like one little interest meeting in our hometown. Two girls came and we just ended up having lunch and chatting. After that, I was like, "Oh, I'm not hosting anymore. Like, it seems like nobody's interested in this in my hometown. It's fine." I then get an email that was like, "You owe us money for your packet." And I was like, "Oh, girl, I'm not doing this no more." And the girl was like, "But you still owe us." I was like, "How do I owe you for a thing that I'm not doing?" So,
Right.
so for those of you who don't know, my background is in journalism. So now I have to investigate you. Okay, I have to investigate you because what do you mean that I owe you money and you're like being kind of hostile towards me? And I start seeing all these little groups popping up all over the place, and I'm like, this feels culty. So I
Mm-hmm.
started doing my research, and people on Twitter who had similar to me tried to become a facilitator started being like, "Well, why are they charging us money? When I got my stuff, it was broken. This did never came. They said I was gonna get to be a leader, and then another girl showed up." Like it was just all this kind of little stuff. And so now I have to take you down. That became my soul.
See, I didn't know that you actually had gotten that deep into it.
Girl, yes.
And this gives MLM again. Like, I'm gonna need the multi-level marketing, the divine multi-level marketing to stop.
It was MLM. And see, you can't like I'm not scammable, okay? I'm just not. So you tricked me by sending someone who I know and I thought, okay, this is reputable. But it took me
Mhm,
one like this all happened probably in less than a week span of
mhm,
me getting on the Zoom, having the little interest meeting, and then trying to have the meeting and at home. That was probably like 1 week. Oh no,
mm-mm.
baby. I see how y'all moving, and this is weird. And there are too many people who are alluding to being scammed.
Right.
Y'all just started. How people scammed? We just started.
But how's the mindset to scam? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think that these people come in with pure intentions.
No.
Because if you are scamming out the gate, it took you a week to get scammed, then you came in with your intention to
Yeah.
scam. Nobody's coming in with the intention to share the gospel. Y'all really want to scam. And that's my
Yeah, but
problem.
when you look into a lot of these people's backgrounds, like that's the thing, and that taught me a very valuable lesson. You know, I probably was 24, 25, but that taught me a very valuable lesson, and I think that was probably the start of me in the church. Like, I've always been, I would say since I was a kid, a questioner. I didn't take anything at face value. I would be like, why are we doing this? What you mean by, I was
And that's
like
why,
13 years old going to church business meetings. Cause I was like, where's the money going? Like I need to know. Y'all get my $13, okay? Tell me where it's going. And my church was really good about, like being transparent, but I was just always curious about that.
Mhm.
So it didn't take me, very long to like catch on to, oh my God, like people come to the church with the intent to scam. And I'm glad, I am grateful for that experience because it showed me that people are literally preying, especially on single women. Single women are a big prey for a lot of these people who have these testimonial scams. I think that's what we should call it, a testimonial scam.
Testimonial scam.
They
But see,
are like single women because they like, you ain't got nobody. I promise your husband.
but again, y'all, this still gives we are not content with Jesus. Now, our husbands necessary for some people. Absolutely. You get your man, girl. I'm not mad at it. Okay. If y'all want one of
Yes,
those,
girl, do that.
if you
Do
want one of
that.
those, go get you one. But
When you
also,
almost 40, don't ask almost 40 women about should you get a man, because we're gonna be like,
girl, no. Yikes.
go,
Yep.
take a trip. You hungry? Eat a little snack.
Oh, take a nap, babes. Go
Girl,
to a workout
you
class.
tired.
Don't do it.
We love our brothers, but
We
you
love them.
probably just hungry.
You're lonely. This isn't the life that you thought you were going to get because nobody told us that. Because we did grow up in the church, and it was you go to school, you get married, you have the children, and you do the things, and then you end up being in close to 40, and it's like this is not what y'all sold us, right?
Yep.
I get that, but also there has to be some contentment with this might not be the life that I was promised, but man, I can do
Yeah.
whatever I want to do. I have free will, and I'm not one of those be content in Christ if you're not getting what you want, because that's
And
not
Jesus is
really.
not my boyfriend at all.
And don't go on dates with him. Anywho, because y'all, we all over the place today. But that is y'all. You don't have to go on a date with Jesus
Well,
because
we're not all over the place because that was a big part of that scam. If you don't remember,
what? Oh, she had the date night. She sure did.
remember?
Yo, you don't have to. You don't have to go on a date with Jesus, okay? All
He's
right. You
actually
can have
everywhere, all the time,
you
all at
can have
once.
quiet time with him. You can do all the things. Do not call it a date. He's not your boyfriend. He is not your stand-in until he get. And let me say this clearly. He is not your stand-in until you get a husband. Because when you get the husband, you're gonna slide him right on out.
Exactly.
So,
Tashara, what a wonderful point. I'm sorry, like that is probably one of the best points I've heard about women and they're like, Jesus is my stand-in, he's my husband, because it's training your mind to say Jesus is disposable. He
no,
is
and
a fill-in.
yes, and he is here until I get what I want. And then when I get what I want, I don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
When the fact of the matter is, well, now we're talking about marriage. When the fact of the matter is, you need Jesus way more as a married person than you ever will being
Yeah.
single,
Yeah.
because you have to submit to the leadership of a man.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're gonna go biblical, you're submitting to this person's leadership, and that's difficult. Okay, we're called to submit because it's not something that we do naturally, and you have to trust God in this situation, that the person is hearing from Him. You need Jesus when you get the man. And we
Yeah.
have just let him be. And that's with everything. He is just this placeholder that we use.
Yeah.
And then we get what we want and we slide him to the side. And then things go awry and we slide him back in. And that is how we get scammed. When he is slid out, right? And you're desperate and you need something, then you
Yes.
run to the church with
Yeah.
your vulnerability and your openness, and you get scammed.
You get scammed. And
We
now
are
you out
trying to
here
help
paying
somebody.
$29.99 a month to be scammed
And y'all paying
on
to
your
be
credit.
scared in this economy. Do you know how much gas is?
It's
Do you know how much eggs cost?
wild.
When you're getting scammed, we're paying to get scammed, we're, being manipulated, all the things. What is it that we're trying to gain when we're entering into the church? Because
Yeah.
then I feel like that shows your intention, and also it can reveal why you're getting scammed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because let's just slide to the scam number 3 real fast. When we
Yes.
have these very extreme Christians, right, who wear black every day and they're just very deep and aggressive, and you enter into this place because it's like, this is right, this gives me purpose, like it's serious, but it's still, if you don't live up to that, you're not accepted there either.
Right.
So what
Yeah.
is it that people are trying to gain when you're entering into the church, you're getting scammed? What is it that you wanted to get out of it?
Mm. I think that's a really good question. I think this is my own personal opinion. You can disagree with me. I, I feel like, especially for those like super aggressive, religious, very fundamentalist kind of churches, I think a lot of people enter those spaces from a place of shame. I
Okay.
think I think shame from maybe a lifestyle they've been living. Maybe they were like, because if we're being real, if we were to do an anthropology study of these kinds of churches, there's usually young people who are trying to find Christ for the first time on their own. Maybe they've gone to college, maybe they've lived on their own for a few years. And I think what happens for a lot of them is they started going to the club, they started drinking, they were smoking weed, they were having sex, and they enter this church and they're like, I feel a lot of shame because we have been conditioned to think that when I enter church, I have to come already holy. I have to come blameless. And
Mhm.
so then you get this aggressive word that's like, you gotta be this. If you're not sold out, if you're not this. And so then they're like, oh, I've gotta be a no limit soldier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Thought I
can't
told you.
waver. I thought I told you. And they become zealous to the point that it's like no room for grace, no room for growth, no room for transformation. It's like, I'm following the rules to the T, and I will fight you if you tell me I'm doing too much.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm,
like, baby, that's not the freedom of Christ. That's not
mm-mm.
liberty. That's just crazy. Why you gotta be a no limit soldier?
No, truly, like, and it goes to everything is so extreme. We got hate, shame, all the things, no limit soldiers. And yes, we do got to be a bit serious about the faith, okay? But also, we forget about joy and about how this life really leads you to freedom and peace that surpasses all understanding. It gives you the strength and the power and the ability to manage your life and
Yeah.
live a full, enjoyable life. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not in the other extreme, right? Another scam. Let's slide this in.
Mhm.
3B, I guess we'll say, because it's just part of, I guess, church culture. But also then there's the extreme of prosperity gospel. So it's like we
Yes.
got the no limit soldiers over here, ride or dying for Jesus.
Mhm.
Okay. Then we got the people over here who is just Jesus got to buy me a jet. And that shows that
Jesus, how do
I'm
I
being
know you're
taken
real if
care
I
of.
don't have $1 million? I don't know you're real.
And it's just like I just be stressed. I ain't gonna hold you because everything is stark comparison to the gospel. Because
Yes.
where is all this? Where did Paul say he was a no limit soldier?
Like when Paul was a no limit soldier, let's keep it a buck. When he was
Period.
a no limit soldier, the Lord blinded him on a road called Damascus, sent him up the way to old boy's house, and they were like, "We
Did
ain't trying to let him in because he crazy."
period.
When he was a no limit soldier, because I think when people hear the phrase Paul was killing Christians, he was persecuted Christians, I think they think he was like not a believer in God. No, he was the most sold out to the like Jewish, following the
Mm-hmm,
Torah to the letter of the
mm-hmm,
law that you could find kind of guy.
mm-hmm.
It's why if you go, I'm a big proponent of reading Paul chronologically. You can find like some Bible studies and some, materials that will tell you how to do that. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
read Paul chronologically, you find that Paul softens over time. Just
Mm-hmm.
like that guy that he said should be put out of the church that time. And then he came back and was like, maybe I was too harsh.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oops. I ain't mean like put him out, but I was talking
yeah.
hypothetically. Because God had to work on his heart because he was a no limit soldier. He
Right.
was not a no limit soldier for Jesus. He was a no
Mm-hmm.
limit soldier for the Pharisees, Sadducees, that
Yeah, yeah.
sect.
But also he was also open to being softened and changed, right? Like these no
Mhm.
limit soldiers, baby, they don't want to hear no other arguments, they don't want to hear no other opinions, they don't want to hear nothing but what they already believe. And so Paul, yes, was extreme and also coming in love with these churches, like, y'all, please get yourselves together. But
Right.
also writing to them like, okay, I also see why you think this way. I also see the
Mhm.
pain. I also see that these women over one of the things I like, I think it's in Philippians, and these two women arguing, and Paul is like, "Can y'all just tell them to get along? And so let's just move on and do what we're supposed to do instead of just shaming them like these two women arguing now. No women can ever speak in church again. It's just
Right.
like let's just talk about it, right?
Sister.
Like right, there is grace and space that
Mhm.
we have absolutely denied, all in the name of extremes.
Yeah. It's also just like there comes a point where being that sold out, being that like over the top, literal, fundamental, makes the story about you. It makes the
Mm.
story about what you are doing for salvation when that's not the story. The story of the Bible is the story of God. It is the story of Him coming to this place, making us, letting us act the fool, rescuing us over and over and over again, letting His Son come to rescue us again. And we still acting a fool a little bit. And He still loves us. And it's about His enduring faithfulness, His enduring power. And when you make it about all the things you do, now it's your story. Why do you need God? You just need some rules. And those
Yeah,
rules could be anything.
yeah. That's why it's not sustainable. Like legalism and all of these extremes are not sustainable because it really dilutes the transformation of the gospel. I grew up with legalistic. I grew up no earrings, no pants, all of that.
Girl, I
Terrible.
didn't know you couldn't do no earrings either.
Girl, not even a little stud, nothing. No bracelets, no rings, unless you had a wedding ring. I mean, you can wear bright colors. Do not do too much. Do not have too many patterns. It was all, don't go to football games, don't go to movies, like anything that could possibly tempt you or have you not in the will of God, do not do it. Do not ever listen to secular music, like all of that. And I will never forget, this is like imprinted in my brain. Now, I was always asking questions, and I didn't understand nothing that was going on. And my mama made that great decision to teach me how to read by reading the Bible, because I was sitting in there like, oh, what y'all got going on? And I'll never forget, we were going to church one day, Sunday school, you had to church all day. And it was during a break between Sunday school and regular church. And they told everybody come outside. Now, this is my break for my snacks. So what we about to do, okay? Because I need my snack and a little nap before church. And they brought everybody outside, and they had all these CDs in the street. Now, this is me at like, I guess I put like 12, 13. So I'm like, oh, they got the hits out here. They had a hit album. And they're all in the street. My little mind, oh, let me go pick up what I want to listen to tonight because all the stuff is in here. Girl, there was a most recent person who had gotten saved, and he said that he did not want to listen to this music anymore. And he got in his car and he ran over all these CDs. And my little heart is breaking because I had my little we had the little
your little
zipper
sleeve. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
girl.
do you know how many albums I could have put in there? And he runs over these CDs, and everybody's shouting and praising. It was the greatest thing. And then, like the next week, he went to jail. And so I said, "You ran over these CDs in the name of legalism, because now you don't listen to secular music anymore. But there was no change in your heart. And not saying, there was no change that I could see in my little 12, 13-year-old eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, we're doing these things to make ourselves appear to be holy, but there's no change because you in jail next week for domestic violence.
Girl, I can't tell you how many CD breaking ceremonies I've been a part of.
This was other people was doing this, girl. I thought it was just my little church.
Oh no, girl! Like this was a thing. There used to be my church was like they were big on like youth programs. So if you had a pitch that went towards youth, you were coming. We had beatboxers, break dancers, rap groups. Everybody was coming because we had a lot of young people that would come to our church. Mm-hmm. There would be like rap groups that would come, gospel rap groups, and they would be like, stop listening to that secular music. You know what I'm saying? If you got CDs in your car, go get them right now. And people bring their CDs in and bring them to the front, and they be breaking the CDs. Who never participated? Okay, because my dad is a professional musician, and we spent every weekend in the studio with my daddy. And you think I'm about to break my Usher CD? It's not happening. Destiny's Child, girl, stop. 702,
original, no. Okay. Not writings on the wall, youngins.
The original, okay? I'm talking about the one with Sell on the album.
See, y'all don't know about that. Y'all know about that.
But yes, girl, this was happening all over the place. Yeah. As recently, probably as 5, this was probably 7 or 8 years ago. Let me be honest. I was driving from my church when I was still there. And I remember someone had preached that Sunday about like laying down your sins or whatever. My church was over a railroad track. I get over the railroad track and I turn and look. Out the window, someone's tossed all their CDs out. First of all, it was 2021.
Wait, and see, See, this is what we mean when we say there has to be the gospel and some follow-up. Okay. All right, let's even say it. You throw out your CDs, you don't listen to the secular music anymore. Cool, that's your conviction, right? That's
Sure.
what you have decided for you. How are you going to sustain that? What is it about? How are you honoring God with that? Because then that helps you
Right.
sustain it.
Right.
Let's
Right.
go there. 'Cause I feel like we don't honor God with these decisions that we make, and
Right.
then it's like you're devastated because you're not getting your reward, right? No, you
Right.
honor him because you honor him.
And I think one of the things that always frustrates me with people who are like this extreme and they need to do these like big things. I get it. Like sometimes people, it's not so much, I'm gonna just be real, it's not so much a spiritual fight that a lot of people have, because if we're being real, the reason they don't want to listen to a lot of this music, the reason they don't want to, they do all these kind of things is because they, especially they young, they scared they're gonna have sex. Like that's just what it boils down to. So you're not dealing with the root of the issue, you're not dealing with your heart, you're not dealing with any of those things. You're just trying to remove all of these external factors that make you feel human feelings.
Mm.
And that's not solving your problem. Because what do you do if you roll out to the Sizzler and, you know, Genuine is on the thing? Do you tell those people to turn it off? You can't do that.
You
And
can't do
so
that.
if you're not dealing with what your real issue is, if you're not dealing with like the heart of what you're feeling, are you just lonely? Or do you want companionship? Are you feeling like there's something that you're seeing other people have that you don't have? Like, what are you really feeling? Because when you don't deal with that, it's just performative, and then you're trying to create a fake world. A world without secular music is not real. It's not
You
real.
listen. I think this is maybe that was like a big light bulb for me, because the church gives you that fake world to live in instead of giving you the tools of how to live holy in the fallen world we already in. So we want to water down and dilute everything so we can stay in our bubble,
Yep.
right, with our people, and everybody got the same opinion, everybody is the same, when we got to be outside.
Yep.
And being out into the world and living your actual life with God, because I'm
Yeah.
always like, we live it with him. He gives us the power and the tools and the strength to endure all these things. That's the whole point
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
He said, in
Yeah.
this world you'll have trouble, but fear not, I overcome the world.
Right.
You got to be in
Yeah.
the world.
You have, but that's the scary part too. Like speaking of scam 3 and 3B, the scary part about these particular scams in these churches is they have convinced people that it is an us versus them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are in a constant state of dodging people who don't think like me, who don't believe, like they're like going to war. And if you don't believe what they believe or think what they think, like you don't understand, you don't love God like that, you ain't reading your Bible. It's like, whoa.
Hold on.
Even in the Bible, there was room for people to disagree on interpretation. There was room for people to disagree on how they carried certain things out. And so we have to learn how to live peaceably with all men, even
Period. Live it
other
for everyone.
Christians who may interpret the Bible differently than me. And that's why I'm never coming at these people who are getting scammed. It's like, you're getting scammed, but I still see you as my brother or sister. I still love you. I'm still going to be, here if you need me. I can coexist with you, but can you coexist with me not agreeing with you?
That's it. It's one of my favorite Oswald Chambers quotes is, what we think about God is the most important thing about us. And I think if we thought of him as someone who loves all people and is not separating us and them, then we would have that mindset that I love this person, period. I don't have to hate their sin. I don't have to be extreme. I don't have to convert them. Yes, evangelism is important, but you live your life as a sermon and people listen to it. People listen to it, see it, and read it, and that's how you convert. It does not have to be this, extreme thing. So, I mean, it saddens me that it really is like a us versus them when it's supposed to be us in the world living amongst everybody, and we just love and coexist together. So,
and if we're called to the world, then how can you not love the world? Like, if that's our call, if we truly believe that we are called to love and look like Christ in the world, and we are mad at everybody who doesn't sit on our side of the bleachers, then how are you gonna be Christ in the world? You got to kind of be around them.
Well, that goes to when people misinterpret being set apart, right? Like when it says, don't be of this world. Okay, we got to continue to read, because no, don't be of this world, meaning do not conform to the standards. Be inside of the world, living a different way, showing different standards, and be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We stop at don't be conformed to the world. No,
be in the world.
Change the way that you see the world, change the way that you think about the world, and how can you impact it as who you are living with God? Like you're bringing him into the world. Because if y'all want everybody to be saved, that's what y'all say, then how can you do that if we're all in this dark bubble with smoke machines wearing black and singing off key,
Heavy on the singing off key. You're recording
it, guys. You're screaming at us, okay? You do not have to scream at us on this stage. And I know y'all inner ears cut off at times, and I know it's a difference when the sound gets out.
Also, like, I don't need mosh pit for Jesus music. I don't. I don't want
to. It's extreme, y'all.
I want y'all to stop getting scammed. Like, I really do. I know, like, I know a lot of people who know me think that I'm just like against certain people because of like politics and social reasons. And I am. I have my reasons. But at the core of me, in my heart of hearts, that's very churchy saying, in my heart of hearts, I really want people to experience the freedom of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
I really want people to coexist with people that disagree with them in love, because it's possible. And it keeps you from feeling like I feel like that kind of like religion makes you paranoid, because you think everybody's against you. And that's I don't think Jesus came to earth for us to live like that.
For us to be paranoid and religious psychosis and
wearing black all the time.
And wearing black every day. And I would have on black shirt today. But baby, I wear colors, okay? I just got joy. And I'm just happy to be here. And I am glad Jesus really did save me and gave me some freedom to live a life and not feel like I have to be bound by rules, regulations, guilt, and shame. Because y'all, you do not have to live like that.
No, even the words of the songs.
We're going to very quickly slip into the self-deprecating worship music, and then we're going to slide out of here. Y'all, when we are singing songs of worship to God, you do not have to diminish yourself and just tear yourself down to worship him. You can say, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and I'm going to praise the God who made me that way.
What happened to the song about the universe? That was cute when y'all was talking about the stars. There was a lot of songs about the stars and like I was like, okay, I can get with that. Like, wow, yeah, Hubble space,
We
telescope.
made
Like
it all.
y'all looked through it and wrote a song about it. I was with that. But I was nothing. I'm beneath. I should be in the grave, buried. Wow, got dark.
Are those things true? Sure. Okay. Filthy rags, it says in Isaiah somewhere. But y'all, he saved us. We free.
And it's like every song doesn't have to tell me that. I don't need to be I went to a conference once. I'm looking at the time because I'm going to be brief. Went to a conference once and literally in the midday break, I remember going to sit outside in the sun and there was a DJ out there and he was playing happy songs. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I needed that. And my friends were like, what's wrong? I was like, every song that was sang this morning was telling me I was terrible. And I'm not saying that I need to be told that I'm great and wonderful because I'm not here to be worshiped. However, God does not look at me and say, ew, hate her, kill her, stone her. She should be under 6 feet. Should have been her on the cross. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot in a song format. Then the song ain't that good.
That they don't be that good, and they all got the same chords. But again, it goes back to that catering to guilt and shame. If you can make me feel like I'm filthy and I've absolutely got to be saved, which you should, but also now I have I'm indebted to God and I got to live a certain way to please him. That's not why he came, y'all. And that is not what he desires for any of our lives. Okay. One of my favorite scriptures is those who fear the Lord are radiant and their faces are not covered with shame. Look up and smile. Okay. Yes. You got joy. Go find it and wear colors. Take the black off. But we're missing the joy of it. We're missing the fruit of it. We're missing the actual transformational power of the gospel. Listen, Jesus really be changing lives if y'all will let it.
He does.
But y'all don't want. But that's okay because we're gonna do something new. That's encouragement.
And we're not gonna scam. No.
We're not gonna scam, and we don't want you to get scammed anymore.
Right. I think this week, what I would like people to reflect on, I don't know what your reflection question, but I have a bonus if you had another.
Go with yours.
I think this week, what I would like people to reflect on is their own personal work that they're doing in Christ. I know a lot of people who follow you are probably other creatives or Christian business owners or, people who aspire to have some sort of platform. Mm-hmm. I think you should ask yourself this week, if you are someone who is trying to create something, what's the heart of what you're trying to create? Because is it about really glorifying God and bringing people closer? Or is it about making people in your image? Do you want people to emulate what you've done and have your testimony? Or do you really want to see people become their truest, highest self in Christ? And I think if you can honestly interrogate that, I think it will stop you from being a scammer on our next scam list. And I think it's how we begin to heal this history of scam within the church.
That is good. I'm a journal about that. Hold on, let me reevaluate, because it brings you back to the heart of Christ, and that's where we're supposed to start at anyway. Yes, perfect discussion question.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining us for episode 3. I'm gonna call it Scam Likely. Thank you for joining us for Scam Likely. I actually know what I want us to talk about in the next episode. I'm going to go ahead and plug it here. It's going to be for all my people who are deconstructing. We're going to talk about deconstruction and reconstruction, of course, because y'all hate that too. And it's all right. Mm-hmm.
Y'all like tearing stuff up, but y'all don't like putting it back together.
Press end recording. We'll see y'all
next week. See you next week, guys.
Bye.